What up, y'all? One of the most badass songs. Another KMFDM jam. Angst. No Peace off the album Angst, I should say. Welcome back to Lockdown Universe. Hopefully you're doing excellent and taking care of yourselves. Taking care of that white light that needs to be around you in these spiritually difficult times. And, Jesus Christ, we don't know what the hell's going to happen anymore. So, hopefully you're taking care of yourselves and your loved ones. We've got a reptilian attack encounter that happened in the UK, and this is just along the lines of some of the most bizarre stories we've ever heard. So, and the picture that the person submitted almost looks like a reptilian / bird entity. So we're going to take a look at this bad boy and see if we can find out some more info here. So what we got is the title is Experiencer paralyzed and assaulted during a reptilian encounter. She was assaulted and assaulted and paralyzed. So couldn't move and assaulted. I love that, right? But isn't there in America it's assault and battery? I think you got to say there's some battery. If they touch you, that's battery too. Okay? And that's what happened here. So this is not... Assault is like the assault, the aggression towards you. Like they're going to attack you. And then the battery is the actual touching. So that's what happened here. So let's take a look. This is off phantomsmonster.com. And it is a British experiencer who contacted them and stated that she was at home when this happened. You got to love when they're at home and you're trying to relax and chill out. And you got nothing but this goddamn reptilian just coming down saying, "What up, bitch?" And we're going to try to take what we want from you. And that's that. Well, that sucks. Anybody would be pissed and feeling violated. And that's exactly how she felt. So, this is the account. She stated, "Hi, Lon. I awoke one night several years ago in a state of which I can only explain as a spasm. My body went into a rigid state. I have felt that one time in my life, maybe a few times in my life. Extreme anxiety caused it. I could not move a muscle, and it felt like something was on top of me. That I did not feel. I fought to get movement back in my body, and I could not turn my head or move at all. It was like I was having a fight to get control of my body." Okay. "After a few panic-stricken moments, I could just barely move my fingers. Only a little bit. I felt that there was more than just a spasm. It felt dirty and I felt touched. It was a horrible feeling from deep within me." This is really interesting because she's not saying she's getting touched in a certain spot. She says she could barely move her fingers. I felt that there was more than just a spasm. I felt dirty and touched. She doesn't say where. It was a horrible feeling from deep inside me, which you can kind of imagine. I don't know what she doesn't say. I could barely move my toes. Again, very slightly. My throat felt like it was being held. Now that is the battery part of it, right? I could feel something was on top of me. My hands were by my side, but it felt like they were around my throat, holding tightly. I was using all of my might to break free from this spasmodic state. Then I could feel something breathing into my left ear. The sound of a growl noise right into my ear. I struggled to move my head to the left, like breaking free from a stranglehold. I could barely see the outline of a head, a big, long head next to my own face. As the spasm-like feeling started to wear off, a tiny bit at a time, I could work out that this thing on top of me looked like a lizard newt thing, N-E-W-T. It was like the blending together of all that was around, or maybe invisible. I'm not very sure which, but I could see it clearly as the seconds passed. It was reptilian. I growled at it, or I think I did. My mind and my body gave it all I could do. I bared my teeth at it. I could feel it could read my mind. So she knew this thing's reading her mind, right? And a lot of people have stated they felt mind raped by these reptilians. They just take what they want out of your mind. I was swearing at it and shouting all sorts of obscenities at it. I felt very violated and used. The next thing It came off of me quickly and stood to the side at the bottom of my bunk bed. A light came through the thin gap of the curtains. There was different shades of golden light, which also had very small particles inside of it. Makes me think of those tractor beams, or like the beams they use in Star Trek to beam me up, Scotty. She said it was like there was dust or small stars that moved around like little bright lights within this beam of light. The reptilian creature was about 6 feet tall. I could sense that it was either proud or happy with itself, maybe both. I tried to sit up as best as I could, and through my mind I swore at it again. And I think a lot of us would be doing the same thing there. No problem. The creature walked forward, stepped into the light beam, and as it did, the feet and legs vanished into the light. The more the creature moved towards the window, the more of it vanished. After it was gone, I felt relaxed, and I could still feel where it held me around my throat. I felt I was horrendously assaulted by this monster. So, this is not over. There's still more. I woke to a bright sunny day. I could hear my mother downstairs washing up and doing housework. I lay in my bed still, and I didn't move a muscle. I ran the incident through my mind again and again. Yes, I could still feel where this thing held my throat. I knew this happened. See, that's where it gets me, right? Because if it's a dream, you're not probably going to feel like a punch in your back or something like that. Sometimes a pain from your physical world can come into your dream, but something where it's grabbing your throat, you're going to have marks. You're going to have the feeling something grabbed your throat, and you know what a hand feels like. If you were like choking or something was pressing on your throat from your bed or something, which would be really weird because everything's soft in a bed, you would know you had something next to you, and you'd say, oh, is it just that? Okay, I get it. But that's not the case here. She said, I know this happened. My mind, heart, and soul know that this happened. For the life of me, I cannot run downstairs and explain to my mother about this. Who would have believed it, right? How would my parents have handled such a thing? I didn't know what to do. So since that night, my stepfather passed away, and I asked my mother if she believed in aliens or UFOs. She replied that my stepfather had said once he had seen a UFO near Brighton while at sea in 1960 and swore it was a UFO, but only told my mother this. I never told my mother about my experience, as I thought it would be too harrowing for her to hear. A lot of people know their parents, and they know what they can handle, and if they can't handle it, a lot of people feel like they just shouldn't say anything. What do I do about my experience? I'd love to do something about it. It may help somebody, as I'm being very honest. Things like this should be disclosed. An answer has to be found on why this is happening. So the owner of the website contacted them, and this is the photograph of what they saw. And it looks like a bird, reptile thing. I'm going to show it to you here. Take a look at this bad boy. You see the sucker right here? Yeah, let me get close. You see that sucker? Reptilian face, orange around the eyes and above the eyebrow. Then it's got this center spikiness to it. It's got like these spiky feathers around its bottom portion of its mouth. The mouth looks either reptilian or fish-like, and the hair around it looks bird-like. And then it's got green scale around its shoulder and pecs and main torso. So the color actually changes around the torso as well. This thing looks like a combination of a bird, a reptilian, and a frog to me. And it looks, like a chameleon and maybe a newt, like she said. It doesn't look like any one particular being. It looks like a combination of beings. And, with all the DNA modifications, it doesn't surprise me that it would look like multiple beings, because we know our own government's working on them, and these guys clearly are working on things themselves. What's interesting here is that this thing that we know of. She said she felt violated, but we don't know. She didn't say that it was like, using a needle to like take ovum out of her, or like, taking DNA, or sometimes there's been reports of these aliens even, having sexual relations with some abductees or encounterees. But that, we just don't know with this one. She said she felt violated, but she didn't really tell us what, or maybe she didn't know. She just knew that she felt dirty and violated. And obviously she was held down. So this thing was holding her down for a reason. Was it just fear? Was it just trying to scare her? Was this thing just trying to scare her so it could use the energy force of the fear within it to power itself and then take off? Maybe it needed a quick energy boost. Maybe it was just dropping by to get like a Propel or a Boost energy drink or something like that, pound it down, and take off in its spaceship. Dude, stranger things have happened, right? Let's face it. We go to the convenience store and grab a drink, or we go to the vending machine and grab a drink. Powers us up while we're working out, or whatever the case is during your day, and then you go about your day. These things, if it's a reptilian, could be the species that does feed on our fear. And if it just needed a quick boost me up, boom, you got it, buddy. That's what you got off of that. That's what I'm coming off with this. I'm not sure if she did get violated in any other way, but it would kind of surprise me for it to just scare her and get that loose energy. So I don't know. But I think it's really interesting to bring up because there is no DNA retrieval, right, on this one. There is no real communication from the thing. It didn't communicate with her. It didn't tell her to be calm, right? If it was a benevolent being, it would have been like, hey, calm down, relax. I'm going to be done in just a second. I'm going to roll out. You'll have a great day. And it would have made her forget about it. But it didn't. It didn't make her forget about it. It wasn't one of these benevolent beings that, might do an experiment on you and then make you forget. It came down, it choked her, it probably utilized its energy, and it seemed to be happy about it, she said. It seemed to be proud and happy. Well, these reptilians have been known and reported to be proud and happy of themselves, that they are a warrior-like species, and that is their main purpose, is to be warrior and dominating any planet that they go to. So, if that's the case, it's feeding off it. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. What do you think about this one? True? Not true? Does it make sense that it's just taking some energy from her? You think about Stargate Atlantis again. I'm just bringing this one up again because they have that common enemy out there that takes the life force from individuals, called the Wraith. That's what they do. They take the life force, they make you older while they take your life force, and you lose years on your life. That's the craziest thing of the whole story. So anyway, I'll leave it at that. You got to imagine that you would be losing years on your life if you experienced something like this. So anyway, guys, take care of yourselves physically, spiritually, emotionally. Follow through on your hobbies and your goals and your dreams. Could she have warded this experience off by saying, Jesus Christ, like we talked about in the other podcast? We don't know. She didn't do it. She didn't try. A lot of people are getting this word out now, and maybe it might ward off some species. Maybe it might not ward off some other species. We've heard about the Catholic Church doing exorcisms and crosses flying off the wall and not having any meaning at all. But I think it's about the belief. If you want to watch a really good show on whole bunch of this stuff, watch the show Evil. I think it's on ABC. We've been streaming it through Paramount Plus. Man, that show, not only is it funny, but it's really interesting. It has to do with possessions and also all kinds of stuff. Remote viewing, like we talk about. It might have some alien episodes in there as well. It's kind of like a modern X-Files, but a little bit funnier. And you don't have to watch it in the dark. So, anyway, guys, take care of yourselves. I love you guys. Peace, love, and light. And as always, Lockdown Universe is out. Peace.